Chicken time. Oh God! I can't be trusted. If you're wondering what keto options there are at Buffalo Wild Wings, or you've just been dying to watch me eat a bunch of chicken, this is that video. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. It's my first mukbang. I hate the word, but the SEO likes it. Buffalo Wild Wings came out with a couple of new flavors. Actually, they came out with 4, but 2 of them were keto friendly, and I thought, A, I want to try those. B, I thought it would be fun if I tried them and reviewed them for you, as well as talked about Buffalo Wild Wings in general, since it is such a great keto option for people out there. They're all over the country. When I was traveling with the national tour of Rent, Buffalo Wild Wings was a staple for me and my friends while maintaining and tracking and doing my own Diet Destroyer program, Cut While on the Road. Buffalo Wild Wings was a big part of that. So if you want to watch me eat all this food and talk about Buffalo Wild Wings and some of the options that you can have as a keto person, as well as reviewing these 2 new exciting flavors, then you know what to do. Keep watching. Before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe this video. I've never done a mukbang before, and if I get a really big response from this video, then I'll do more. It's up to you, really. Okay, so the couple of options that I wanted to talk about specifically and try are the new wet lemon pepper sauce and the dry-ish pizza flavor, which is limited edition. I think the other ones that came out that were new are in the normal new rotation, but pizza, I think they said, was limited edition. Now, I'm gonna tell you the 4 that I got and the typical ones that I get. Of course, buffalo sauce, when in doubt, is made up of hot sauce and butter, which is absolutely a-okay on a ketogenic diet, but it's not my personal favorite, if I'm being quite honest. I'm happy to eat it. There's also the garlic parmesan, which is relatively low carb at 3 grams of carbs per serving. So it's not the best option, but it's not the worst either. I tend to go for a dry rub because they tend to be the lowest in carbs, and honestly, they're less messy. I just like them better. So the 4 types that I got for my dinner tonight are Chipotle barbecue, which you might be thinking, barbecue, that's not going to be keto. This is a dry rub option. It has only 1 gram of carb per serving, and it tastes like barbecue Lay's potato chips. If you are a big fan of barbecue chips, this is that dust, but on wings. So it's such a recognizable, nostalgic flavor for me. You can see what they look like here, but they're dry. So you don't get that wet, soppy, sugary barbecue sauce mess, but you get that like sort of chip flavor. It's so iconic for me. Then one of the new flavors is the wet lemon pepper. So they took the dry rub lemon pepper, which is one of my favorites, and they put butter with it to make it a wet sauce. So it's a wet lemon pepper, and you can't imagine how excited I am because I love lemon pepper. Something about that tanginess. So it's basically that same rub, but mixed with butter. That looks like it's going to be incredible. Super excited to try that one as well. But my all-time favorite, because I can't find anything similar anywhere else, is the salt and vinegar dry rub. It tastes like salt and vinegar potato chips. Are you sensing a theme here on what I kind of go for, these nostalgic flavors? I can't really have the chips, so it's that same sort of flavor. Also, for those of you who don't know, what makes Buffalo Wild Wings so special is that they fry their wings in beef tallow. Every other place you go to, including Wingstop, etc., they are using a vegetable oil or a peanut oil, which is not as heart healthy. Those are the kinds of oils that are actually very detrimental to your physical health, and using a healthy animal-based fat source like beef tallow is always going to result in a more healthful product. This is what I would do if I was at home. So the fact that I can order it out and have it be cooked in a healthful oil, that makes Buffalo Wild Wings really special in my book. Last but not least, we have the new limited edition flavor pizza, which is their keto-friendly, at 3 grams of carbs per serving, Parmesan garlic option, but it's mixed with a dehydrated tomato and basil powder. And they're calling it pizza flavored. Garlic, Parmesan, tomato, basil. I mean, why wouldn't I want to try that? These look so good. You can recognize that Parmesan garlic sauce mixed with this other dry rub. I wish it was a little bit more tomato basil-y. It looks like it's mostly Parmesan garlic, but I'm not gonna complain about that. You can also, when you go to Buffalo Wild Wings, ask for celery only. That's my recommendation since carrots can be a little bit higher carbs. And I asked for an extra side of the salt and vinegar rub because I love that. The fact that they charged me 60 cents for that and they got so little though is unacceptable. I like both ranch and blue cheese to dip in, and that's just personal preference. And they gave me a bunch of wet naps. Thank you Buffalo Wild Wings. So I think I want to start with the pizza because I feel like that's the one I'm most excited about. I will probably venture into the lemon pepper next, but this is really exciting for me. I can't believe that there's entire YouTube channels devoted to watching people eat, but here we are. I also got all drums. I didn't request that, but it looks like that's what they gave me, which is sad because I'm a flats girl. But okay, I'm gonna try it without any sort of dipping sauce and I'll let you know what I think. Oh my God. Okay, it tastes like the normal Parmesan garlic with a little bit of like a pizza after flavor. A little bit tomato and basil-y. I really wish that they had like coated this in that flavoring because it's not as big of a difference as I would like. But ooh, it really hits on the back end, that sort of pizza sauce taste, but it's dehydrated. It looks like it's like a powder that's just been sprinkled on the Parmesan garlic wings. So if you can make this happen, I would recommend it just because it's a limited time thing. And it is keto friendly. It's not the lowest carb option out of these 4 that I've picked, or the lowest at Buffalo Wild Wings in general, but holy moly, these are good. I watched a few other mukbangs and people just talking with their mouth open gives me the heebie-jeebies. So I don't know how you film otherwise though. I think a lot of people do this with a friend so that they can have a break and not talk while the other person's talking and then they can oscillate. It's hard to do these on your own. But I did watch one where I think it was like combined with like an ASMR. She had like a microphone and there were so many eating noises that my misophonia, which like not allowing me to enjoy that video, I had to X out immediately. So if you're somebody who suffers from people talking with their mouth open or the sounds of chewing, this isn't your video and I'm really sorry, but that's what a mukbang is. So I'm just trying to be like one of the cool kids, you know? Really trying. The reason why I don't like the drummies is because it's like all this like cartilage at the top, which is actually really good for you, but not that pleasant to eat. Wow, that is so good. It's a little bit spicy too, which I wasn't expecting. Like, there's a back heat end of that. Okay, next I'm gonna go for the wet lemon pepper, which is just as exciting. For those of you who are wondering, oh my God, this looks so good. I also always ask for my wings extra crispy. I just don't like any sort of potential for like wobbly skin, so it's kind of gross. All right, let's give this a try. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm glad these are permanent because these are phenomenal. It's such a strong lemon flavor. And that pepper is like fresh cracked pepper, but it's still like a, ooh, it's got a little bit of that kick from the pepper too. But it's still a wet wing. So if you prefer a wet wing to a dry wing, but you still have that lemon pepper essence, oh my God, this is so good. Oh man. This is really, really good. If you're looking for the lowest carb options, any of the dry rubs will be fine, but you have to be really cognizant of the wet sauces. A lot of them are sugar laden, but there are a lot of keto friendly or lower carb options. Oh my God. Okay. I really like the pizza ones, but I think they need more of that tomato basil flavor. This might have just been like not the best batch. These ones are faultless. This lemon pepper is phenomenal. Wow, I could definitely see myself ordering this again and again and again. So I'm glad it's permanent. That's the great thing about Buffalo Wild Wings too. When you're keto, you can go out and people can get their boneless wings and people can get their burgers or whatever they want, and there's always gonna be an option for you. And that's what I always loved about going there on the road. I don't know how this is gonna be interesting, but people do it. I don't get it. The tough thing about wings, however, is that you really have to compensate with an appropriate amount of fats for the rest of the day because it's such a high protein food that you could really not necessarily kick yourself out of ketosis, but your fat to protein ratios are going to be way off because it's just so high in protein and not as much fat as you might think. So getting a side salad with a high fat dressing, or just really doubling down on some sour cream or something like that, or like a ranch etc. That's a good option to try and balance it out, or you can just be more cognizant that you need a higher fat meal surrounding this meal. Holy shiitake mushrooms, that's good. All right, 2 down. Oh my gosh, they're so good. Okay, so the rest of these are some of my faves. Obviously, because I doubled down on the salt and vinegar powder. It's like dehydrated vinegar. I don't understand how they do it. I want to try and source it myself because I make wings all the time at home. And honestly, I like my wings just as much. But I wanted to try these new flavors. Okay, there's not that much salt and vinegar on here. So thank goodness I got the extra side because I would be irritated. I got 1 flat. Thank goodness. Okay, so this just looks like, you know, I just put extra on there, but I love, these are just so tart and tangy, very similar to the lemon pepper. It's just not a flavor I typically have. So for me, when I do have it, it's really exciting. And it has that mouthfeel, really tart, lip puckering feeling, and I like it. I don't know, maybe it reminds me of like a savory sour candy. I don't know. I thought I'd have more to talk about. I don't go out to eat a lot. I don't order out. I ordered like keto sushi. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen it. Go follow me on Instagram if you're not already. I post a ton of information on there, a lot more often than on my YouTube channel. And I never go out to eat because I like cooking at home. I pretty much eat steak and butter all the time, so not a lot of reason to eat out. But the only time I ever really leave the house is to go to the grocery store, my outdoor gym. That's pretty much it. So it still kind of catches me off guard when I go to pick up takeout and I see an empty boarded up restaurant with like 1 or 2 people working inside. I was in that service industry my entire teenage years and early adulthood. And as somebody who was in that industry for a really long time, it's just really depressing. That's the most unladylike thing I've ever seen. If my mom sees this video, she's gonna be mortified. You might be here because you want to figure out about these sauces. You might be here because you like Buffalo Wild Wings. You might be here for the keto content. But for those of you who are here for the mukbang, what is it? I don't get it. Is it that you feel like it's social? Does it give you a feeling of like eating with a friend? When you, especially now when we can't do that? But these were popular before quarantine. Anywho, 4 down. And then these are the barbecue ones. Again, these could have been, they just went a little easy on the dry rub, sadly. It just bummed me out. I kind of thought when we got the vaccine, things would kind of happen a little bit faster than they are. And especially living in LA, we can't do anything. We haven't been able to do anything. Nothing's open. You can't even eat outside. Nothing. So it's just kind of a bummer. And it just reminded me of that. So that's also probably why I don't get takeout a lot, is because I don't want to be reminded of the state of the world. I'd rather just eat my steak in my house. This one's so different from the rest, but it needs more seasoning. In general, Buffalo Wild Wings, you need to make sure that your wings are covered. If they're not covered, then people are going to be disappointed. I think when I normally get this flavor, I always ask for an extra side of the dry rub because I want it saturated. You know what I mean? 4 down. That one's good because it has a little bit of sweetness at the end. I probably have lipstick all over my face. This whole thing is just embarrassing, but we're giving it a try. We'll see what happens, right? Okay, I'm gonna take a break from eating because I have a feeling that I could very easily just crush all of these, but it's gonna be boring. I'm talking to a non-existing second party. What I think I will do is go over the nutrition facts and give you all the options right now on my phone. So, carb-wise, all of your dry rubs are 1 gram of carb per serving. So that's for 6 traditional wings. 1 gram of carb, that's practically a free food. And that's if you got any of the dry seasonings, which include the buffalo dry seasoning, which is the dry version of the buffalo sauce, chipotle barbecue, which is one I got, desert heat, I haven't tried that, lemon pepper, the dry version, and the salt and vinegar, which I have, which you know I love. Now, in terms of the rest of the signature sauces, the ones that are low carb, that if you were my client, I'd be like, yeah, go for it, live your best life, are Blazing Carolina Reaper, which I have not tried. It sounds like a super hot sauce. That rings in at 3 grams of carbs. 2 grams of carbs is their hot, which is their traditional hot level of their buffalo sauce. The lemon pepper is 2 grams of carbs. The one that we have here that we tried today, that one is hot fire flames, y'all. Whew, that is one of my favorites now, one of my new favorites. At 1 gram of carb each, we have medium, mild, and original buffalo. Again, like I said, all the original buffaloes are gonna be pretty low carb. The Nashville Hot with pickles, it says. So maybe the pickles are what's bringing up the carb count, but that's 3. And then we have Parmesan garlic, which is kind of the pizza version with a little bit of extra. So same goes for the pizza at 3 grams of carbs. 5 grams of carbs is smoky adobo, so that's kind of like pushing it. I've never tried it, couldn't recommend it. Haven't tried it because there's so many options that are less than 5 grams of carbs. So depending on how strict you are with your carb count. 2 grams of carbs is spicy garlic. Haven't tried it, have been told it's super garlicky and not very spicy, so that's not really my jam. I'd rather have Parmesan garlic. So, but that is 1 gram of carb. Then we have the Thai curry, which is 4. Again, I don't think I would wholeheartedly recommend it, but if you're somebody who's a little bit looser with your carb count, could potentially be an option. And then at 3 grams of carbs is the wild. I'm not sure what kind of sauce that is. Maybe that's like a hotness level. Not entirely sure, but those are your low carb options. The worst carb option at Buffalo Wild Wings at 21 grams of carbs per serving, and that's just for the sauce, okay? You guys, we're only talking about sauces here. 21 grams of carbs is the Asian zing. Whatever you do, stay the hell away from that stuff. Absolutely not. Second best at 20 grams of carbs, and by best I mean worst, is the jammin' jalapeno, which is interesting because it doesn't sound like it's gonna be sweet, right? It just sounds like it's gonna be hot and spicy, but jammin' jalapeno is the second worst sauce you could possibly pick at Buffalo Wild Wings. In 4th place, at 19 grams of carbs, is the orange chicken. It comes with a fortune cookie, so maybe that's why. That's one of their other new flavors that came out. If you like orange chicken, maybe that's for you, but if it were me, I would just get something else. 19 grams of carbs isn't worth it. And then I'll give a, runner-up honorary mention. 4th place at 18 grams of carbs is the mango habanero, which you would think, because it has the word mango in it, it's not as deceptive as jam and jalapeno. So if you're going to Buffalo Wild Wings, now you know which ones absolutely to avoid, and you have a plethora of options that you can try that are delicious and super low carb and can totally fit in your lifestyle. If you're not the type of person who feels satisfied by just getting a giant platter of wings, then maybe add a side salad. There's not a ton of appetizer options other than some celery sticks to dip in, etc. Don't be fooled by the cheese curds, they're breaded. It's not just like fried cheese like you want it to be. I know it's so tempting every time I see it and hear about it. I want to get it, just avoid. If you're gonna go to Buffalo Wild Wings, just strictly get the wings. They're much healthier for you than getting wings really at any other takeout destination because they're cooked in that beef tallow. That's going to be so much healthier for you than any sort of soybean oil, peanut oil, any sort of nondescript vegetable oil. That's the kind of stuff that, even though it is low carb and high fat, is not healthful. It just isn't. If you are looking for more information on how to maximize a keto lifestyle, if you're looking for somebody to help you end the cycle of yo-yo dieting for good, if either one of those sound like something you would be interested in, check out my link to my free training down below, all about how to officially end that cycle of yo-yo dieting, and my absolutely free trick to ensure that you maintain any sort of weight loss on a weight loss journey. It doesn't have to be keto specific. I'm gonna keep eating these, and I'm not gonna force you to watch or listen to me eat them anymore, but let me know down below if you liked this video. If you did, let me know what places you'd like to have me do another sort of mini mukbang again. I don't see myself wanting to do this again unless I have a friend. Maybe I'd love to do it with a friend, but it's hard in these quarantine times. It's sad. This was fun, and hopefully you enjoyed. I'm going to dive right back in and live my best Buffalo Wild Wings life. If you haven't liked or subscribed by now, I don't know what you're waiting for. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.